Hello.
Wake Up Missoula.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It is a great morning.
It is. I hope you all had a nice weekend.
Nice and sunny outside.
I certainly did too.
I totally vegged out this week and just kind of relaxed and not did too much at all.
Just kind of sat around.
Oh, yeah.
I did some news reporting.
Oh, yeah. How was K-PAX?
It's going well. It's going well. Going
Nice.
well. Did some news reporting on a veterans barbecue. It's a kickoff event for this big coalition of organizations that are all working together to help veterans out in the community. So that was fun.
Yeah, that sounds like it was a ton of fun. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I saw you at the Cares Park because I did a shoot.
Oh, yeah.
At Cares for that.
I did that too.
Carnivores Classic.
Oh, yeah. Did you see the steer? They roasted an entire
How did you like
steer.
that, Scott, since you're a vegetarian?
I don't like people out of me that I'm a vegetarian.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're a vegetarian?
I'm sorry, I exposed his
That's
vegetarianism.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Oh, man.
I try to keep it under wraps as much as possible.
I love eating and wearing animals.
Be proud. Be proud.
That's funny.
You and your man skirt too.
Yeah.
Made out of pure man.
You know, I once asked a vegetarian, you know, I was
Don't
like,
ask me that.
I'm not asking you.
No,
I'm
you're
talking
gonna ask
about
me indirectly.
I was asking a vegetarian one time, why do you wear leather shoes?
Yeah, that's a good one.
And she said, we don't talk about that. So
anyways, I want to...
in the name of fashion.
In the name of fashion, yeah.
In the name of fashion. So I want to talk about some of our summer camps, but specifically the free summer camp for kids.
Yeah.
MCAT is putting on a free summer camp just to kind of give you a taste of what it's like to be in the other summer camps. But you know,
Very
we
cool.
have we can have about 20 kids, and it's going to be happening from June 25th to the 27th. All you got to do is contact me or Christian Ackerman by emailing us at mcat.org, or you can
Give us a call.
give us a call at 542-6228.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep, free movie camp, and that's going to be the last Wednesday through Friday in June.
Cool. That'd
Anybody
be fun.
who's aged 9 to 13,
Yeah.
That's a great service
just
to the community.
great time.
It is. It is.
And we got some new photos.
Oh, we got some really cute photos. Cute pics.
Ah,
Here's our nice,
We look really
cute pic.
nice. Yeah. Look at us.
Wake Up Missoula. We're actually
Yeah.
smiling. I did like the one before. We're all like looking down and going like.
No, that one was way too stern.
too stern.
I
Too
like
much.
stern. I like
I don't know.
waking up
It was serious.
nice and stern in the morning.
It was hard hitting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then of course our bear.
Our bear.
The bear.
That thing's cool.
Yeah, that's when our very
like it.
own guest,
Chuck Bartlebaugh
Yeah.
was in.
He was great.
Yeah, he was
great.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That was like one of our long days where we had like 5 guests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh hey, oh yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
And speaking of guests, we had
really
Shara Scott on last Wednesday, and she was talking about elections. And elections are
Tomorrow.
That's
Yeah.
the primary elections
Yeah.
to determine who you want to run on the Democratic or the Republican side
Yes.
of the seats.
Yeah. Get out there and vote, everyone, and go to MissoulaVotes.com.
And be an educated voter. Take 15 minutes to do some research, figure out what the issues are, figure out which candidates,
Yeah.
what their behaviors are, what their voting history is like. Just be an educated voter.
Yeah. It's important.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, and in this day and age, you can find out plenty of information online by looking up your candidate.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Look up all the candidates.
Yeah.
Yep. Once again, we always have a orientation,
Yes.
but not this week. It's going to be the following Wednesday. It's every second Wednesday of the month. MCAT puts on an orientation for people who want to get involved with MCAT, and by being involved with MCAT, you get to use some of our fancy equipment, our studio, what you can see us here. Yeah.
And it's only $20 a year
It
to
is.
Yeah.
be a MCAT producer.
And you can make your own TV. Like, this
What a
is
deal.
such a great resource to, like, make your own television. Get in here, everyone.
Yeah. If you're,
For sure.
you can start out in television by starting here.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yeah.
I can attest to that myself. So
And in our regular programming, we also have the media assistance grants that we provide for nonprofits and other organizations in town trying to get their event out there. If there's like an event that you have or that you know of and you want us to come and film it, you go to MCAT at mcat.org, go to media assistance grants, and you can fill it out, and we'll come down and film your event for your organization. And like many organizations, we also have an ongoing series and one of the series is, well, let's see. We have a couple series, but these there's only one series, and that's the YW Talks, and that's the YWCA. And I'll show that at the very end. But the very first one is Jan Holmes. We showed her last week at a city council speaking about coal trains and stuff. But this time she's talking about coal trains.
Oh, great.
Yeah. She's from Missoula Elders for a Livable Tomorrow.
And she did this through MELT, which is Missoula Elders for a Livable Tomorrow. And she's talking about the video that she just showed, which is Coal
Road to China.
Coal Road to China.
Yeah.
And I filmed this not too long ago.
So let's check it out.
So here's a little bit of information on Otter Creek, the coal mine area. Everything is moving slowly there, but if the application is finally accepted as complete, we'll only have 2 weeks to respond.
And that's going to be tonight on MCAT at 6 p.m., followed by the Supreme Court hearing.
Over-reliance to dismiss as moot or for any other reason on the validity of 2010 interlocal agreement was to everyone's peril. And so ideally, yes, that 2008 lawsuit would not have been dismissed as moot.
And that's going to be 7 p.m. on Tuesday, June 3rd, which is tomorrow night, followed by the YW Talk, YWCA.
Yeah, gender and development. So GAD is gaining serious traction in the Peace Corps community, and in many places volunteers, often third years, or people who have extended, work formally and exclusively with gender and development oriented programming. So today I'll speak about a number of experiences that I had in my primary role.
All right, and that's going to be, that's going to be at 9 p.m. on Tuesday.
Nice.
So that of course she was talking about gender roles in the Peace Corps and like utilizing what gender roles mean in other countries.
Yeah.
Because we already pretty much know our gender roles here, and we're still basically fighting a lot of gender role problems and discrimination.
Discrimination.
But I think it's really good that they're doing this.
I think so too. That should be very interesting. Yeah. Check it out, everyone. But before we move on, I want to show this video. So I am going to see my sister and my nephew this weekend. I'm leaving Friday. She lives in Colorado. Yeah, and then I haven't seen her for like almost 2 years, and her baby's just now 2. And so I have this really cute video of him eating an orange. And I know it sounds like cheesy, but check it out. It's adorable. Okay.
Oh.
Dog. Is it a wild rabbit dog? It was domesticated.
Is that sour? What are you doing?
Yeah, I think it's it's so funny. It's just like the kid he forgets what it tastes like, and he's like, oh look, I'm interested. Yeah, he's like.
He likes it, and then he's just like,
no, get out of here.
It's the aftertaste or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he likes it, but he kind of likes it.
So that's my adorable nephew, and I get to see them this weekend in Colorado. So I'll be doing a live show from Colorado. But yeah, I'm really excited. So I just wanted to share that video to show everyone how cute he is. And
Very
I'm
cute.
Really excited. Yeah. Yeah. What's next? Do you want to talk about city council?
Sure. Do you want to talk about city council now?
Yeah.
All right,
a lot of
great.
stuff going on.
All right, I will
hand it over. All right. Okay, so this is the Public Safety and Health meeting, and they're talking about the implementation of the Pedestrian Interference and Aggressive Solicitation Ordinance. And we will show our first clip, which is from Tim France, who's the owner of Warden's Market, and he's going to talk about how he has had to deal with transients in front of his storefront. So let's hear from Tim France.
Okay, I'm Tim France. I live up in the Rattlesnake, and I have Warden's Market on the corner of Higgins and Spruce. I appreciate the committee and the council allowing us to get back in front regarding continued pretty much unsafe issues with a group of sort of bad actors in the downtown area. We're trying to get a copy of the video to you so you can watch a video that I shot with my phone on a couple of Fridays ago at the alley between Warden's and the Higgins Plaza. The Higgins Plaza, as you guys all know, I'm sure is sort of it's target central for a group who choose to take up occupancy there, and they like to party there pretty much all day once they get settled in. And
all right, so that was the owner, Tim France. He's the owner of Warden's Market, which is literally kitty corner to MCAT, well, basically. And you know where it is. It's on North Higgins. It's a pretty serious place to go shop. There's all kinds of great stuff there.
Yep.
But
I love Warden's.
Yeah.
Definitely a come and go place for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a historical place, I would imagine.
It's been there for a long time.
Been there for a really long time. Wasn't Warden one of the founders of Missoula?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was like Warden, C.P. Higgins.
But definitely, I think the owners switched hands over the years for sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That was in
But
like
anyways,
1880 something.
the issue is the panhandling ordinance, you guys.
Yeah, yeah. And so John Wilkins asked Tim France, owner of Warden's, what kind of steps are you taking to mitigate this transient problem? So let's hear what Tim France has to say to that.
Well, it's my understanding that you have taken a few steps on your own in your store. You want to tell us about that?
yeah, you bet. Yeah, we've kind of taken a position that we're monitoring alcohol sales of the type and quantity that these guys like to get into early in the morning, and so we just cut them off, basically. We kind of eyeballed the area, and then if there's anyone out of this group, or anybody really that's gathering as a group in the early morning hours, we just literally take it, we just say no, we don't sell it to them.
All right, so that's Tim France talking about, well, you know what, if you see groups of transient people or see groups of anybody in general and they look like they're partying and they're buying alcohol at 8 a.m., he's cutting them off. I don't know.
I think that's a good idea. I mean, what else is he going to do? He can't be violent, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, it's not it's not a liquor store.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't follow the same rules where you're not allowed to buy alcohol before like 9 or 10 a.m. or whatever.
Yeah, so, well, I think all this, the state, I think they cut you off. I think you can't buy alcohol past 2 a.m. and then it opens up at, what, 8 a.m.?
8 or 9, yeah.
But they're choosing to not sell that early in the morning. Well, and then the next soundbite we have here is from Marilyn Marler, and her question is simple. Is the ordinance working? So let's listen to Marilyn.
So I would ask this question of everyone who's here to speak on the topic, and thanks to everyone for coming to talk to us. Has the ordinance that we passed made any difference at all?
It really hasn't. As a matter of fact, I'm not so sure that it just didn't re-educate these guys, and they're a little bit more intractable, it seems like. It seems like they're clear about, they know that they can sit. And and I've just watched them sit for hours and hours and hours, even after multiple contacts by law enforcement. And the issue, I think, is for the law enforcement, if they don't actually witness drinking or illegal activity, then they really can't move them along. And
all right, so that's Tim France basically saying, this new ordinance, the pedestrian interference aggressive solicitation ordinance, is not working. And if you guys remember from back a couple months ago, we were talking about this. The law is you can sit anywhere in Missoula as long as it's 10 feet away from an entranceway to a store or to a public vicinity, or anything like that. So you can sit, but make sure it's 10 feet away. And basically what these transient folks are doing, or these homeless folks are doing, you know, they're sitting, and it's not, the ordinance really isn't solving the problem that the city, you know, initially wanted to address with the ordinance. So
and the group that he's talking about, because like I work at Taco del Sol, and so I'll work downtown, and always there's a group across the street of like 10 to 15, and they range between like they range between like 5 to like 15 people, like, and they just sit for hours, and they'll drink, and they'll get into fights with each other, and like hassle people on the street. And so like I know exactly what he's talking about and the group he's talking about, and cops can't do anything to them unless they see this activity. And there have been times where they'll like arrest them, and they'll pass them along, make them move along, and then they'll just come back a couple hours later.
I thought Wardens would have like security cameras out there.
I think they do, but where they sit, it's not, it's like at the Higgins Plaza, and so they're only like, there's maybe like a couple businesses in there, like where they sit, it's well way away from a door. Like,
well, you're technically allowed to be intoxicated in public as long as you're not engaging in any disorderly conduct. So it's according to the Montana Supreme Court, alcoholism is an illness, so you're technically allowed to be intoxicated on the street. It's only when you step out into the middle of the street and stop cars, or step out in front of people, or start yelling at people, then you can be arrested. But technically you're allowed to be as drunk as you want on the street. And so these guys sitting there can drink, they can do whatever. I don't know about the open container law, but they're allowed to be drunk. So at any rate, here is Officer Roy. He's talking to Marilyn Marler about what they can do. What Marilyn Marler basically asks Officer Roy, you've probably seen him around, he's a bike cop. But Marilyn Marler is basically asking, what can we do? What laws can we, since we are the lawmakers, what laws can we add to the list to make this work? So let's hear from them.
How is everybody? Repeat your question, please.
What things are currently on the list that somebody could be ticketed for or taken into custody for, and what do we need to add to that list? Like, I know that when we had this conversation during the public hearings for the new ordinances, I learned that it was not illegal to be drunk in public. But then somebody later told me that drunken disorderly in public is against the law. So I think it would be helpful for us as people who make we have the power to make some rules. What things could we add to the list of behaviors where they could be taken into custody? And is that even a helpful thing? Like, if somebody does something that you could take them to jail, is that helpful? I mean, then what happens when they're at jail? What do we do to help you address this?
Okay, first to clarify the laws, it's not drunk and disorderly that makes it offense, it's disorderly. So we have non-intoxicated people that get arrested for disorderly conduct. So the alcohol is probably a precursor to many of our incidences downtown, but in itself that's not a violation. And you're right, I can be intoxicated walking down the sidewalk and I'm perfectly legal. Once I step out into the street and I block traffic, then we have a law that says an intoxicated pedestrian in the street.
So yeah, like just with like what we were talking about, you know, so you can be drunk. These people, I should say, are drunk, but you know they're not breaking any laws, you know. So the next thing that they start to talk about, this is Brian von Losseberg. He says, well, if the ordinance isn't working, then why don't we create a list of individuals? Why don't we work with these people on an individual basis, see if that works? So let's hear from Brian von Losseberg.
About relative to this Seattle article and comments that came from Aaron Fowler and from at the POV and Travis, I believe, on the hot team, was the individual sort of case-by-case approach they took. I believe Travis talked about looking at, 5 or 6 people that he made an effort to get off of the streets, and was successful in doing that. And it was now, the challenge he was facing was keeping these people in housing. But it was a very individualized case, and in other words, it's not a situation for any of those people solved by an ordinance. It's not just an ordinance that solves this. And that's, to get back to the Seattle article, the same thing they found there. I mean, they're talking about a guy in this Seattle article who's very much like the Harley that we're talking about here. So I have no better suggestion at this point than to get into something like the Mayor's Advisory Commission and, have a hot list of these folks, so to speak, and see how we can be addressing them much in the same way that Travis addressed them, these 5 or 6, because when he deals with those 5 or 6, it seems like the next 5 or 6 sort of rise to the top, and it becomes the new issue. I'm not.
All right, so that was Brian von Lossenberg talking about dealing with them case by case on an individual level. Now, the next thing is the city's lawyer. He's going to give some legalese. Well, not legalese, but he's going to talk about basically the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that vagrancy and loitering are unconstitutional. Or wait, no. Let me rewind. Vagrancy and loitering, it's unconstitutional to punish vagrancy and loitering. So basically the city lawyer is going to talk about what the ordinance can do and what it can't do. So let's hear from the city attorney here.
And that is not just necessarily all disorderly conduct issues.
But if it isn't disorderly conduct, we've got a problem, because before I ever went to law school, the United States Supreme Court had declared that vagrancy and loitering ordinances are unconstitutional. So if all it is loitering or vagrancy, and they're not doing anything, they're not disorderly.
Right. They're just in violation of the city ordinance, but not necessarily.
Well, the city's not allowed to have a loitering or vagrancy ordinance. The Montana or the United States Supreme Court declared that decades ago. So what you're talking about is a situation where there's no disorderliness going on, and it basically is loitering or vagrancy, and the United States Supreme Court long ago said you can't have regulations to do that. The Montana State Legislature has also held or written into the law that alcoholism is an illness, and they put in prohibitions on certain things. You can't regulate and prosecute and cite people solely because of alcohol being the factor that's the reason you're citing them. So,
all right, so that was the city attorney talking about some of the legal issues surrounding the ordinance, and how basically the ordinance really, in terms of getting rid of the transients downtown, the ordinance, it's not going to do it.
Yeah, it just seems like it's, but the only way you can actually do this is by infringing on their individual rights.
Yeah, and that's
and it's like you said, it's a case, like they should totally do it as a case by case scenario, where they have to, instead of just treating them like they're just kind of out of the way, just like letting them do what they want to do. Yeah. It's always good if they open up a conversation with some of them. Mm-hmm. Like I know, like a lot of times, what I do is I just like keep walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times, you don't. Yeah. People don't try to be like, hey, it's really uncool that you're just kind of hanging out here and blah blah blah. Like it's a personal favor to me if you could just like, know.
And I think that's like probably the best way to do it is just case by case. I mean, I'm sure that's going to be time consuming, but as we just heard from the city attorney, like you can't make vagrants and loitering ordinances, and so can't do that. Then what do we? I don't know. Yeah.
I think it just has to do with like lack of communications, and we have to call them transients and homeless people, and just have to like put people after homeless. So.
Yeah, we have to put labels on them.
Well, one solution that they've been throwing around is wet housing. So this guy Dan Cederberg, he was an advocate of making the ordinance. He was an advocate for taking sitting out of the ordinance. So basically, Dan Cederberg wanted to make it illegal to sit anywhere downtown, and that was just not happening. City council was not going to, because it's just too. That's just too overreaching. Because people sit down everywhere. But anyway, Dan Cederberg here, he talks about wet housing as a solution. So let's hear from Mr. Cedarberg.
And I believe that the housing task force folks are working on wet housing. The problem that we run into, and it was illustrated in one of the conversations we had, is you've got one of the chronic individuals. It's not Harley, but one of the other ones, and you know, Andy and the judge and Travis know all these folks by name. This is an individual who's not welcome at the POV. He's not welcome at 316. We don't have wet housing, but he is welcome in his own home. His mother will come down and bail him out if he gets thrown in jail and take him home. But he doesn't like to stay at home. He likes to be on the street down here. So it's not a person who doesn't have housing. He has a place to go.
So at any rate, that's Dan Cedarberg, and he's talking about this individual case. And you know what, I'm going to wrap it up because we're running out of time here, but the last soundbite I'm going to talk about is Ellen Buchanan, and she's talking about how a major businessman came into Missoula, and he took a walk downtown after one of his dinners one night, and he is the businessman behind Hilton Garden Inn. So he's a major businessman, and he wants to invest in downtown Missoula, but he sees the transient problem. And let's just hear from Ellen Buchanan because she's got a great way of saying it.
On that.
Well, Ellen Buchanan, Director of the Missoula Redevelopment Agency. John had asked me to just repeat a conversation that I had with one of the prime developers of Riverfront Triangle property. That almost all of that development group was in town 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, working on this conference center concept. And one of the principals in that group was here for several days, and we were talking, and the evening before he had a long dinner with some folks and was staying downtown at one of the hotels, and decided to walk around downtown for a while, around 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And I mean, this is somebody who's traveled all over the world. I mean, he's not a young, naive, rookie-type person. He's been the head of Hilton Hotels. He created the Hilton Garden Inn brand. He's certainly a seasoned citizen, and I asked him about his experience downtown, and he said, I tell you, you guys have some work to do. It was not comfortable, and I'm not typically uncomfortable in situations like that, but you've got some cleaning up to do in your downtown. You've got to.
So yeah, you heard it from Ellen Buchanan. We've got some cleaning up to do downtown. You know, we'd like to hear from you guys. What do you think? Do we have some cleaning up to do downtown? You could always go onto our Facebook page and talk to us about what you think. But you know, I just thought we'd wrap it up on that because that was such a strong quote from her. And yeah, basically, outsider comes in. He's looking to develop a lot of money into Missoula, and he says, look, you guys got some cleaning up to do. So obviously there's a problem. Obviously, clearly it seems the ordinance is not handling the problem fully. But yeah, it's an issue that Missoula is going to have to continue working on.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, I've got some events for everyone right now. Okay, let's see. How do you do that? I'm still learning how to use these Macs. They're kind of crazy.
It's crazy.
Too crazy. Okay, so events happening today. This is called Mama Mondays. This is every Monday. It's at Bitterroot Gymnastics, and it's from 9:30 to 12. And what it is where you can just like drop off your child, usually between the ages of 3 and 5, and they must be potty trained. And you can like run out and do all your errands and get your appointments out of the way. And so this is every Monday, and it's $18 per kid at Bitterroot Gymnastics. Yeah, so if you've got some errands to do and don't have anyone to watch your child, take them there. That'll be a lot of fun.
Learn another skill.
What?
And they learn another skill because it's gymnastics.
Yeah.
And it's cool because I've seen some of what they do there, and it's like this is a huge foam pit.
Oh, fun.
And they just like literally just jump in it, like fall.
It's a great resource. Like if you got stuff to do and the little one wants to have fun, yeah, it's a really good idea. Also, is Bridge Group. 1 p.m. at the Senior Center. This is the beginner's class. You got to pay $1.25 to play, which is not that much.
That's very specific.
Yeah, I know, $1.25. And but the advanced group meets at 1 p.m. on Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays for Party Bridge. And I thought that was kind of funny. I didn't know there's Party Bridge. There's Aikido program for the youth. These classes start June 3rd, which is tomorrow. Orientation for new students is today. Classes meet Tuesday and Thursday at 4:15 to 5:15. And Aikido is a non-competitive martial arts that teaches centering and balance. And so, yeah, you can call 549-8387 for more information. And the Aikido studio is at 208 East Main Street. The VFW is having bingo tonight. It's 6:30, and this is every Monday for the year. And jazz, there's Jazz Monday at Monk's at 7 tonight. There's also movie night at the Top Hat. It's called My Father and the Man in Black. It's 8 p.m. It's free. It's all ages, and it's about Johnny Cash. And I've actually got the trailer here for you guys. So let's watch this.
A few months ago, my father killed himself, and he didn't leave a note. But then, I found his storage locker.
The situation was that Johnny Cash was on the floor of the motorhome, totally unconscious. For all intents and purposes, he was dead. I brought Johnny in to help publicize the restaurant in 1958, and we hit it off.
Saul said I should be aiming at big places in big cities.
Growing up, I only saw my father a couple of weeks at a time. Then he would be gone again, on tour with Johnny.
I fell into a burning ring of fire.
We have just about the best of everything in our lives, and so do our children.
I didn't recognize anyone in these photos. Who were these people? Until I found these pictures, my childhood was a blank.
Johnny Cash was arrested yesterday in Texas. The singer is charged with smuggling drugs across the Mexican border.
I'm two people. Johnny is the nice one. Cash causes all the trouble.
I'm falling apart, physically and emotionally. It is not a very pretty picture.
Yeah, so that will be tonight at the Top Hat. Free, 8 p.m. And then there's trivia at the Badlander tonight at 8:30. And then these are Tuesday events. There's a beginning essential oils class at the Walking Stick Toys. It's at 11. Class is $5, and then $35 if you want to take home your own little starter kit. This will just cover the basics on essential oils and help you get started using them for immune system support, emotional support, fever, and basic first aid. This is from 11 to 12:30, and you can call 543-1179 to RSVP. There's a picking circle at the Top Hat from 6 to 8. This is for bluegrass-oriented musicians. It's free and all ages. And then the library is having a how to set up a website on WordPress. WordPress is the website where you can just like have your own blog and have your own website. Yeah. So this will be 3 Tuesdays in a row at 6:30 in the library's computer classroom. So you can call 721-2665 to register. There will be music at the Top Hat. Aaron Buzzas. It's at 8 p.m., all ages, and then until after 9. Then once you're at 9, it's got to be 21 and up. But he's country bluegrass, so you can check out YouTube to listen to what he sounds like. And then there will also be hip-hop at the Palace. Pigeon John with Gray Skull. They'll be featuring local hip-hop artists. It's 18 plus, $5 surcharge for minors, $10 in advance, and then $15 a day of show. And then you can also check those out on YouTube. Yeah, and so those are the events for today and tomorrow.
Very cool.
We have a little time to see a little bit of history.
Yeah. Let's do From the Vault.
Show us the history, Scott.
We have a young Max Baucus, a young Al Gore, and a 94 presidential election.
Ooh.
Very cool.
Let's see. Actually, wait. Since it's 94, it would be on the campaign trail.
Yes.
Campaign trail?
For something else. It might be the senator race.
No, I think 94
because Al Gore was vice president from 92 to 2000, so 94 is the middle. So he's Al Gore came to Missoula in 94 to promote one of our candidates in Montana. at that time. And here's a little taste of From the Vault.
All right.
Isn't it wonderful how lucky we are as Montanans to be Montanans on a glorious day like today and have visit us today the Vice President of the United States of America.
Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for your warm welcome. I'm just delighted to be here. And Pat, thank you for your generous introduction and to be able to come back on this occasion to speak on behalf of two of the finest candidates, one who I know very well from my years of partnership in the Congress with. It does take me twice as long to walk socks now, but other than that, it hadn't been too much trouble.
And this is when he was talking about his broken foot.
But the sympathy helps. Now, Bob Dole hasn't been willing to sign my cast yet, but I appreciate I do appreciate it. You know, I got used to hearing stories like that.
So yeah, we have many things from the vault, and hopefully I get a show from the vault for Karis Park, because we're having a guest from Missoula Downtown Association.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Missoula. Sorry, I'm thinking Montana. No, Missoula. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Like we have a guest from Jenny from the Missoula Downtown Association, or she's the one I was talking to via online. But we're gonna have a representative talking about Out to Lunch and Downtown Tonight. So a lot of great stuff, because Out to Lunch starts this Wednesday and Downtown Tonight starts this Thursday.
Yay!
Awesome. So a lot of great bands. I think Shakewell is gonna kick off Out to Lunch.
They're
on
fun.
Wednesday.
They're a great band.
But Noah will talk about it in events on Wednesday.
Yes, I will.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna have to end the show by saying many times because I can't think of anything else to say.
Well, yeah. For Wake Up Missoula, I'm Noelle McAvoy.
I'm Josh Minnie.
And last but not least, I'm Scott Rand.
Have a good day, everyone, and we'll see you Wednesday.